So we have with us today none other than the Chief of Police of the City of Fort Pierce. And don't ever forget to put the beautiful behind Fort Pierce. And we're going to let her introduce herself because you guys know how good I am with names. And so we also have with us Dr. Angela. And she is also an advocate for the police department. And they do so much in our community. And so I really want Chief to introduce herself to our audience. And also, Chief, talk about, because Fort Pierce Police Department, the things they do in our community is just so unique to what other agencies do. It's very different from when I first moved to Fort Pierce, some 30-something years ago, almost 40 years ago that I moved here. It is so different. The things that we see the police department doing and how they engage our community. And there's a YouTube segment out there with Youth for Change. And I don't know if you remember this. One day we were shooting a video and one of the officers was there, and so we put him in the video. It's to me, to see what our police department is doing and how far it has come, to me, it is amazing. And this is some of the main reasons I want to have a conversation with you. So you can talk about those accomplishments. And so if you would introduce yourself, please, Chief.
I'm so honored to be here. First of all, I'll say that I'm so honored. I am Diane Hobley Burney, and I am the proud chief of the Fort Pierce Police Department. And my story is such a unique story because people, they really thought that I was out looking for a chief job and things such as that. It did not happen that way. I was working for the Tampa Police Department, and they happened to see us do a play. It was called We Must Reach You to Teach You. And the uniqueness of the title of the play, because we knew for our kids, we had to, for them to understand, we had to teach them, but we had to reach them by doing it in their language. So it was an ad-lib play, and the kids were at the Preventing Crime in the Black Community Conference. They saw us do it and asked to bring it here. Once we brought the play here, they told me, hey, we have a chief job open. You want to be the chief? And I was like, no, I am very good and happy in Tampa. And then one of the officers from Fort Pierce came to Tampa and met with me, told me his story. His story was about compassion. His story was the need for change. His story was the love of his city. And he felt that I could be that person to do that for this beautiful city. And his words impacted me so much. I came here for 3 days. And I said, okay, let me look at this. And for those 3 days, he took me around and I talked to the people. The stories that I got from the people was so unique because they were saying that they felt they were not treated fairly. They felt that the police department wasn't listening to them. And they told me so many things, and I was like, this cannot be correct. But every day we went to different places, different people, and I kept hearing the same things over and over. The first day I was like, nope, I am staying in Tampa. The second day, I said, well, maybe. And then the third day, God said, this is where you need to be. So I applied. It was a nationwide search, and so here I am. So when I got here, it was important to me. I had to see how the police department operated. And I looked around, I drove around. And one of the things that I had promised, because one of the ladies said to me was the fact that I just want my child to have a birthday party where I can have it outside and not worry about somebody shooting at us. This is what she said to me. These were such powerful words. She lived in the Lincoln Park area.
Right.
So on my very first day, I walked the streets of Lincoln Park because I was saying, if I can walk these streets alone, I'm going to make the streets safe for you. And so we had to change the dynamics of many things. We changed the dynamics of, first of all, I told the city, I cannot fix the Fort Pierce Police Department. I'm going to rebuild it. tore everything down, and we started from the foundation. And the one thing that was so important to me was the voice of the people of Fort Pierce was in the foundation. I listened to what they had to say. I wanted them to know that we are their police department. I changed our motto to "We in honor we serve," because I want them to know every single day it's an honor for us to serve you. We want to serve you, protect you, and keep you safe so your children can play outside. And I wanted the whole city to know that although people live in Lincoln Park and they consider it the ABC streets and they have all these negative thoughts about Lincoln Park, the people of Lincoln Park want the same thing as any other place. They want the same things. And it's just unfortunate that people that do bad things live predominantly in those areas. So we had to fix it. And we had to change the dynamics of the police department so that the officers recognized it was their duty to protect and serve. And so what we did for our roll calls is where we get a daily briefing of everything.
When you came in, one of the things that I really enjoyed when you first came in is that you held so many community forums where the community could come in and talk,
right,
and be honest about what they felt and about what was going on with the police department, what was going on in the city. And I really applaud you for that, because a lot of times people come in assuming to know what you need but never ask.
Right.
And you were one of the ones that came in and took time to meet with everybody of the community. And we're not just talking about the African American community, y'all. When we talk about community, we talk about all of Fort Pierce. I just want to be very clear on that. And you brought all of us together and were able to sit down and then hear the concerns from each part of the city about what they wanted to see happen here. And I applaud you for that. I really do. Because before that took place, very few times do we have a voice that people listen to us.
And you're absolutely right. We broke the city up, and we did one for the Lincoln Park area. We did one for the south part of the city, and we did one for the east part of the city. So we took care of everybody, and they shared their concerns. And so I appreciate you, Pastor Hazel, because you were one of the first people that I met. And I was so blessed. I call you one of my angels that God sent to watch over me. Because coming into a place that you have never been before, and into an environment that you had never seen before, you need prayer. You need a person that you can go to and know you can have a true conversation with. So I truly appreciate that. And your voice radiates with me, and I wanted you to know your voice is a part of that foundation because you shared your concerns. Because when I first got here, oh my Lord.
Amen. Amen again.
There were shootings every day, it seemed. The streets was crowded. I couldn't quite understand it. And I couldn't understand how people were just shooting just because. And I was like, okay, we have to change these dynamics. I took our roll calls and took it from out the building and put it in the neighborhood, meaning that wherever there was a problem, they did their roll call on those corners or in that neighborhood. It allowed the officers to feel what the neighborhood was feeling. If there was stress there because of the shootings, I want you there. That means you need to fix the problem. And it also allowed the neighbors to meet the officers and the officers to meet the people. And that became so important as well. And I had to change the dynamics of how we police. I had to change the dynamics of my police building because I wanted people to, once they arrived there, to feel welcome. So when you come into my building, it's not like any other police department building. It's of comfort. And I have a kids area for the kids to come in and read books and play with toys, because I want them to feel that we do much more than just put people in jail. I changed our cars. Our cars used to be black and white. Changed them because there were so many horrible things that were happening in so many other areas. And when they see the black and white cars, they related that to us. And I said, no, we're different. And we changed the design of the cars because I wanted people to know it's a new Fort Pierce. It's a new day. And with that in mind, I had to change the concept and how we patrol, how we police, because more importantly, we had to start letting people know consequences of your actions. And with that in mind, people were shooting because it was Tuesday. That's Tuesday, let's go shoot. So once we started arresting people, consequences of their actions, not because of what we want, it's with the consequences of their actions. And once we started doing that, once we started investigating things properly, once we started letting the people know that we care about them, things change. Because I understood the fact that when things were happening, people were afraid to tell. They know it's their next door neighbor, but they're like, oh no, I'm not saying nothing. But we had to let the people know, you live in the neighborhood. We just work there. You're there 24/7, but we work your neighborhood. Unless you invest in your community, there's not much we have to do together. The police cannot answer everything. And to do that, we had to build community programs to let people see us under that different light. And I'm so proud of the fact that it worked, because people, they were still afraid, and I'm going to say this, but they had a voice. They took the empowerment. This is my neighborhood. Yes. I am not going to allow this to happen. Right. And even if they did it secretly, it didn't matter to me as long as we got the information. Right. And it's from that information that we were able to reduce crime significantly, because it became us. Right. We're doing it together. And I truly appreciate that.
One of the things that, because like I said, I've been here for a while, one of the things that I believe that took place was people learned how to trust again, because there was distrust for a number of reasons, from the old Fort Pierce Police Department to the new police department. And so one of the things I love about it is that you invested in building trust, and that's not always easy. And so when people were able to make a private phone call or, reach out and say that something had happened, they didn't have to be worried about that their name would get back into the community again. And so I am very grateful for that you took time, and not only you, because I know you built it from the ground up, rebuild it from the ground up, but also that your officers took the initiative to build trust in the community. And that is just, to me, that is just major, that the young kids now don't see you as a threat, but they see you guys as a friend. Somebody who can throw a ball, somebody who can laugh with them, somebody who does things with them. And again, that comes from those community programs that you have put in place. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful.
So one of the things that I acted on was my victim advocacy. With the victim advocates, what they did when there was a crisis or some severe crime, you would have them there to guide the victim through it. But I wanted more. I wanted much, much more, because we only had one victim advocate. Now we have 3.
Wow.
And Angela is the supervisor of them.
Wow.
And I have to tell my story about Miss Angela. I have to. So I was on one of your podcasts, and you were at the Image of Christ, the one that's on 31st.
Right.
And just by chance, I'm leaving the podcast and I meet Miss Angela. And Miss Angela said, "Oh, how are you? I've been wanting to meet you." And we started talking. And this talk ended up being almost an hour. We still talking. And then I told her right there, I said, "You're going to come work for me." She said, "Oh, yeah, okay, well, we'll see." I said, "I'm telling you, you're going to come work for me." And I only had one advocate at the time. And so this is how God works with me. He heard my need. He heard my voice and what I wanted to do. And I was able to get another position. I called Miss Angela. Miss Angela go, said, come on, Miss Angela. She said, I need to talk to my God. I said, that's why I'm calling you. He told me you come. And she came to work for me. And from that point, we just continued to bloom because we have our Courageous Kids program.
Yes.
My Courageous Kids at 31st and G, and it falls up under my victim advocacy. And this is where we, every Tuesday at 4:30, we interact with our kids. My kids are, I'm calling my kids because they are my police officer, and I consider them as mine. They are in uniform, and we're playing games. We're doing just educational things. We're doing this every Tuesday, and my support staff is a part of that as well. We feed them a meal every day that there is there, and that has been built under the leadership of Miss Angela. And not only that, Resources in Community Hope. I have been trying to open that forever. And this is where all ages can come for assistance, regardless of what it may be. And I talk about everyone because with my seniors, I'm going to use one of the programs. When you go to the doctor's office, you have machines. They don't have people anymore. So you have to put it in a computer that you're there for an appointment. Our seniors didn't know how to do that. They went to the Rich House to learn how to get emails, and things like that. This was built under Miss Angela here. And our Rich House has grown. And when I couldn't open it, God told me I needed Miss Angela to do it, because once she became a part of the Fort Pierce Police Department family, all the pieces fell into place. And so when I tell you I walk in the steps of my God because He leads me. I pray all the time that He guides me, that I will always make the right and the proper decision. And for that, I turn to Miss Angela to share all the wonderful and blessed things that we're doing.
It is such an honor to be a part of the Fort Pierce Police Department for many reasons. First, because there are stories as to how my involvement with the police department occurred. These stories are truly stories that were all parties trusted in elements of divinity, which is why a few years later, here we are. And that is similar to the way the Rich House developed. The Rich House is called Resources in Community Hope House. It is located at 2304 Avenue I in the middle of Lincoln Park, in one of the housing authority properties that has been leased to the Fort Pierce Police Department. The whole purpose of the Rich House is to give our kids, our community, our seniors, our parents, people who do not necessarily have homes, but they stay in the Fort Pierce Lincoln Park area. The whole purpose is to give them a sense of this is somewhere that they can come to get resources, to get a smile, a hug, to get a sense of hope. One of the things that we do at the Rich House is we have a morning program so that kids who are going to public schools, St. Lucie County Public Schools, there's a bus stop adjacent to the actual Rich House. We are open in the mornings so that kids can have a safe haven to come. We provide a little bit of nutrition for them because we know that all kids do not eat dinner at night. Even though the school system provides breakfast for kids, we want to give them a little bit of nutrition, a little bit of nourishment just to start their day. Right. We have an officer there that is warm, welcoming. I'm even going to say the word loving, because she knows the kids who are coming to her every day. She's established relationships with them, and she mentors them in the morning. There are some kids, because they do not have access to technology, and we know that we are in a technological age where homework is required via technology. We have kids who come in and complete projects in the morning. They do research in the morning, and then they go on the bus and they go to school. So the Rich House is open in the mornings. The Rich House is also open in the afternoons from 3 to 6. on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And there's a reason why it's not open on Tuesday, which I'll talk about in a moment. But in the afternoons, officers there, we have support staff from the police department. They are volunteers, and they are phenomenal. They have such a rapport with our babies. We have someone from the police department. His name is Justin. Justin has his master's in mathematics. Justin comes and tutors our babies in the afternoon.
Wow.
He takes his time because he loves the kids. He loves the community. He loves giving back. He is a consistent tutor for the Rich House. We also have other staff that comes and do different things with kids, from projects to helping them in the afternoon with research. But more than that, we have staff that comes and teaches kids basic, what we call basic, but these are essential skills. How to sit at a table, how to hold utensils, basic etiquette. We also teach kids how to greet one another, how to greet adults. We teach them and enhance elements of their reading skills.
Wow.
And we also have fun with kids. We have a karaoke machine where we actually allow kids, once they've completed their homework, we allow kids to sing songs and just be kids and laugh and have fun in a very safe place. And the reason we do karaoke is because in order to sing the song, unless you know it by heart, you have to read.
That's right.
So karaoke is a way that we enrich kids' fundamental need of reading on site, because a lot of our kids, they have difficulty with that. So sometimes we pick the songs, sometimes they pick the songs. But again, we found that karaoke is a fun way to enhance reading abilities. And then let's not forget, the different pitches and singing as the whole group sings along with the chorus and other parts of the song. That's just one part of the Rich House. The reason that we do not have Rich House activities primarily on Tuesdays is because we are with Courageous Kids. Courageous Kids is a program that was started by the chief many years ago. And it started because of her love of the community. The story that I'm going to paraphrase is the kids wanted consistency and having engagement. And they asked the chief if someone could come back and see them on a consistent basis and provide nourishment. And she made this program happen. And so, to my knowledge, the Courageous Kids program, the Tuesday Courageous Kids program, has been an ongoing project since 2015, 2016?
Somewhere around that time.
Somewhere around there. The years of COVID, we actually had about a year, maybe a year and a half, where we did not have Courageous Kids activities. But once COVID diminished, we were able to re-engage our kids, and we are now in the park with kids every Tuesday, starting at 4:30. We provide dinner around between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, depending on the day. Even if it rains, we are there. We have inside activities where we partnered with In the Image of Christ, and we use their facility. So rain or shine, we are in the park on Tuesdays. The beautiful thing about being a part of the Courageous Kids program is that we get a chance to see our kids grow from toddlers to teenagers. And we have kids who started when the program started, and they were tweens, which is in between the youth, the adolescent, and teenagers. Those babies have grown, and they have their own children, and they make sure that they bring their children on Tuesdays to be encouraged, to be mentored, to have that kind of relationship with officers. On Tuesday, we also have partnerships with Children's Services Council, where they provide books. We have someone who sits and works with our kids with reading. We have other community partners as well that show up. And our kids know that if they need something, like a pair of shoes or they don't have a coat, all they have to do is let us know. And we will either go to the Rich House where we store basic items for kids related to clothing, shoes. We'll either go get it, and if we can't get it, we will work with our community partners to get it so that kids do not have to worry about where their pair of shoes are going to come from. They don't have to worry about a coat. They don't have to worry about having basic necessities. And Pastor Hazel, you have been one of our consistent partners in making sure that children get what they need. If we can't provide it from our resources, you've been extremely consistent with that. So I want to say thank you for all of your support with that. In addition to making sure that we get access to a safe place for our kids. And I'm going to talk about you just a little bit. Yes, I am.
Praise God.
Pastor Hazel has in the facility in the Image of Christ, she has a community health center there.
Yes.
The Courageous Kids program. We've had kids who have come to us who've had, they've had a cut or they've had some other issue that they've told us about. And as opposed to worrying about where the child was going to go, we talked to the parent and we literally walk the parent and the child across the street, and they are able to get immediate medical attention for their needs, for their issues. And it has provided for children to know that no matter what's going on with me, if I have a cut, if something that, I might have a rash, all I have to do is go knock on this door, knock, knock, knock. Mm-hmm. Somebody comes to the door and somebody helps me. That has alleviated a huge amount of external pressure as well as internal pressure, because as we know, Maslow says that there are certain basic needs that we have to have met before we can have other societal needs met. Mm-hmm. What you've done in the community has allowed for just that basic need of medical attention. That is now being met so that our kids can grow in other areas of their lives and other social and emotional areas of their lives.
Thank you. I think that was very important when I met with Dr. Wilhelmina Lewis, which is the CEO of Florida Community Health Centers. We wanted a health center in our community that people didn't have to pay $10 to go and $10 to come. They could walk, ride, or just come in. So I'm really glad that you were able to utilize that, because that is the purpose of the Lincoln Park Health Center, is to make sure that people in the community know that they can come in with or without money to be seen. And I'm very grateful. And just going back to Courageous Kids, because I remember a lot. I've been around for a couple of ice cream seasons, and I remember where there was an entity that came into the community and used our kids and would use them for their own purpose. And then once they were finished using our kids, they then left the community. But those children were so used to coming and playing football and having an adult around there that honored them, that supported them. And so for you to come in, Chief, and just fill that void again is a blessing. But it also shows our children, and for me this is key, because sometimes we don't know what we know. We don't know it until we get introduced to it. And a big part for me, for the police department, is that you've given children permission to pursue that job if they want to, because they get to understand that police officers are not all mean and nasty. They're not out to hurt them, but they get a different sense about the police department. They get a sense that, okay, maybe I can't do that job because I got people that look like me doing that job. Or somebody shows them kindness and it pricks their hearts and they want to emulate that person. So I'm just very grateful. I really am. I am very, very grateful for everything that you have done and continue to do. But one of my main questions too, we talked about the seniors, which I absolutely love, because a lot of them don't know technology and don't know how to learn it in a safe place without feeling condemned and stupid. And so to have Rich House available on Tuesdays for them to be able to come in and learn how to check an email or how to create an email or just to get information on the doctor said this and what does that mean to me. I think it's very important. And it gives us a place that we can go, again, that is safe. And so let's say that we have a senior, Angela, that we know that need this service. How would we get in contact with you or with the police department in order to refer them to the Rich House for them to be able to come into services?
So I'm going to say this, and Chief, I'm going to ask forgiveness because in my heart, this is what I feel like I need to say. We have so many in our community who need someone to be on the other end of the phone.
Yes.
As soon as they call.
Yes.
And because of where we are with our kids, we may not always answer the phone because we cannot take our eyes off our babies once our babies get there.
Not.
So if anyone would like to come, a senior would like to come to the Rich House, and again, I'm opening this up to the seniors and the parents.
Right.
If you'd like to come to the Rich House to receive support, we learned at the Rich House that having small cadres of similar age seniors doesn't always work.
Okay.
Because many of them are concerned that they may look a certain way,
right,
because they don't have the basic skill set. And what they fail to realize is that most seniors who call for assistance, their skill set is in the same place.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide my office telephone number at the police department so that when people have questions, they can call me. Because there's 2 more victim advocates, I can get the information out to either of the other victim advocates so that we can have an immediate response and we can have individual appointments for our seniors and our parents at the Rich House.
Okay.
So my work telephone number is 772-467-6846.
You may want to do that again because, we may not have had a pen at the time.
Absolutely. 772-467-6846. And my name is Angela. I'm the lead victim advocate, and I'm going to give the number one more time. 772-467-6846. And if you just call the Fort Pierce Police Department and ask for Angela, your call will be sent to me.
Also, what we will do, Louis, we'll also put a link on our website for WJGW, which is WJGW.org. And then you can also go to our website and there's a link that you'll be able to click over to the police department that you'll be able to do that. What is your vision for the future? And how can we, because one of the things I absolutely love again is that you always talk about community, that this is not something that you were able to do by yourself, but you brought community in and would have been able to do a awesome job, in my opinion, with our city and with policing. Mainly because, like you say, I see the police officers in the community, doing roll call. At first, it was a little odd, Chief. I'm just going to put it out there. To be able to see that, but then to understand that they're doing roll call. And now we see it and don't even look twice because we know what it is and we're comfortable with it, understanding it. So I absolutely think that's a great idea. So again, going back to the question, what is your vision for the future? And how can we as community help you reach that goal?
So I would like to...
And you can't quit. Just going to put that out there. That's not a part of it. No retirement. You're talking about...
So let me say this. I was supposed to be here 3 years. I am working on year 10. Year 10. I'm having God to guide me through everything. I would like to expand my victim advocacy. Because I say this because not only do they help victims of crime and anybody that is a part of that, but they are proactive so that to avoid people from being victims of crime. See, that's so important to me. We want to give them the skill base so so that they will not be a victim. If they're in a domestic situation, give them the skill base and the courage to know when to walk away. We want them to know those things. With our Rich House, although it's located on Avenue I, it's open to the whole city.
Right.
And we have people from the beach, we have people from all over that not only come and be a part of it, they volunteer, but they also invest.
Right.
They are investing in the Rich House, they're investing in our courageous kids because they want to see them be successful. We've had so many companies that sees what we do.
Right.
And they want to be a part of it. So I'm very grateful for that. So I would like to build on that. I want, because it's not just the police department, it is a community. And we need to build with that as we continue to grow. We had tried to open a Rich House South, and because of the amount of effort it took, we had to focus in on just one place. Right. But that's my intent, to grow it even more so, and work with the city to make it a part of the efforts that they have down in the south part of the city. I want the people to learn us. Say, hey, I would like to have a front porch roll call at my house or at their business. And they can call us to get that, to have that service. And we'll be happy to come and schedule it. Because I want them to know us, and we need to know them. The only sadness, and I'm going to be very open about it, is we do a lot of work to train my officers. And that's the most important, because one of the things I promised as a chief, that to have my officers to go home as they came.
Right.
I pray for that on a constant basis. The unfortunate part of this is that because we're one of the lowest paid agencies that still remains, that becomes an issue, because once I get them where they need to be, meaning training wise, community wise, because I love it when my officers jump out the car and start playing basketball with these kids. That shows how much love that they have, and I appreciate that. And then the next thing I know that they're going somewhere else because they're making much more money than what the city's able to pay. We have to get that stabilized somewhere. I want the officers to know the community and stay there. Right. And this is how you build more trust, more hope in the people, because that was one of the things I had said, and that's one of the things that I felt that Fort Pierce liked, where our kids liked hope. And that's the name, the Resources in Community Hope. That just says so many things, because it gives them hope for the future. When we have parents to come and write letters to say, I've seen the change in my child because of what you've done.
Yes.
That's an exclamation point.
Yes.
Shows that it is truly working. When I go to a restaurant, I was in a restaurant recently, and the owner of the restaurant goes, I couldn't even drive down Avenue D. People was all on the corner. Things have changed. And I have to smile about that, because those who truly remember knows what it was. And unfortunately, sometimes when things are gradually happen, people forget. And I say that change is a us change. It's always about us. It's not about me. It's about us working together. And I want to keep that change. Whether I'm here, whether I'm not here, I want the people to know their voice is in the foundation of the police department, and never, regardless who the chief may be, never lose the power that you have. Right. Because you're the voice. If the police department is not going in a certain way, you are the voice. The foundation has your name. Honor that, keep it, and know that you have more power than you ever think that you may not have.
Before we end this, there's a program that I know that you have where you bring community in and you train them and they get to ride around. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So that is our We have it as our Citizens Academy. And this is where we bring them in so they get the opportunity to see firsthand what they do. They get the opportunity to shoot our tasers, go to unarmed defense, do traffic stops.
Wow.
And we have them where they actually put on these guns. They're not real guns, but where they at the traffic stop, and we put them in shoot, don't shoot situations where they have to think real quick whether they're going to shoot a person or not. And when they see that, they were like, a whole bunch. Just about everybody. Just about everybody. And so, but it just shows the thing that it gives the impression of what we do, and they can see it and experience it firsthand. But what is happening, we had scheduled them on a number of occasions, but unfortunately, because of my staffing right now, I'm not able to do it. But I plan to do many more. I plan to bring some of my crime prevention things into the neighborhood to say, you don't have to come to us, we're going to come to you. So this is a part of the growth, but I have to get my staffing at a level where I'm able to do that. And I'm hoping that would happen. Because Fort Pierce is not only a beautiful place, we are a very safe place.
Yes.
And it's so sad that the perception is not always there. I've heard a situation where these ladies were talking, and they was talking about the Alphabet Street, how dangerous we can't drive down it. And I asked, this is before they recognized I was chief, have you ever been in Lincoln Park? Have you ever been down? Oh no, but they told me. So it's not about what they experience, it's because what someone has said.
Right.
And just know that Fort Pierce is beautiful. The Fort Pierce Police Department is here for you. And we honor our message, our motto, in honor we serve every day.
Talk about Community Day. See, we didn't talk about Community Day.
Unity in
the community.
Unity in our community.
Yes.
That is one of the greatest and biggest events that we have. And Miss Angela is a major part of that, so I'm going to turn it to you so that you can describe it.
Thank you, Chief. In our community is where the police department hosts a day, really a chunk of the afternoon.
Yes.
Where we host community partners. We have a variety of vendors. We have kids activities. We have giveaways. We have live performances, some by kids, some by our local, and even beyond the city of Fort Pierce performers. It's an opportunity for the community to come together and see what the police department is about, but also to meet their neighbors. The police department hosts this annual event. This year it's going to be Wednesday, July 16th, starting at 10 a.m. We have on the Facebook page of the police department a save the date. So please go to the Facebook page of the Fort Pierce Police Department to look at the save the date. And then if you have any questions, you can contact the Fort Pierce Police Department, and a representative will be getting you more information if you have additional questions. We are looking for vendors. Vendors are people who have businesses, nonprofit organizations. We just want to have as many representatives from the community, a part of unity in the community, to share with the community what you do. Did I say enough, Chief?
Yes. Well, I'm going to say a little bit because I absolutely love that day. And the children in the community also love that day because they get to participate and compete.
Yes.
In order to win gifts and prizes. And so you really want to be a part of that. Bring the children out to be a part of it because it is just so amazing. And I've been out there, it's loud. Okay, it's hot and it's loud, but the babies have a good time. And babies really do have a good time. And so we're not just talking about babies. When we're talking about the 17, 16, 15-year-old, all of them can participate and have a great time. Chief, I thank you for coming in today. Dr. Angela, I thank you for coming in today to have a conversation with Pastor Hazel, because my whole intent is to highlight the positive things that we do in this community. And there are so many great things that is happening in the community that we want to educate people about. And one of the things you said, even in the beginning, is that we want to keep prayer relevant when it comes down to our police department, our sheriff department, We want to pray for these men and women that go out and honor and serve our community to keep us safe. You know, we can see a lot of things, and some of them are negative, but mine is positive. But the reality of it is, who wants to live in a city where there is no police? Who wants to do that? And so we want to just keep them covered under prayer. I thank you again, Chief. I want to say publicly, and as well as I would tell you privately, that you're doing a great job. And I am very grateful that the Lord allowed you to come to this city and to work in this city and to bring in your experience, your strength, and your hope into our city. I appreciate you, and I'm sure that the community itself appreciates you. And so again, we want to tell you thank you to our Facebook family for tuning in to a conversation with Pastor Hazel. We also want to thank our radio audience. Woo, 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 woo. Amen. We just thank you for tuning in to WJGW 107.5 on your FM dial in the beautiful city of Fort Pierce. Tag and share. Let somebody know that there's great things happening right here in our city. God bless you.
Thank you for having us. It was amazing.
God bless you.
God bless you.